Yo, what's up, boys? In this video, I'm going to break down how to play Warzone in lobbies that actually shoot back. That's kind of a meme. A lot of people will say that to streamers in my comments. My lobbies never shoot back. Well, this is an example of a lobby that does shoot back. I run into a lot of sweats. One little caveat, there's 149 other players in this game. Not every single one of them is going to be a sweat, but the end of this game is extremely sweaty. I'm going to walk you guys through my thought process, break everything down. It's time to get good. All right, boys. So as always, we talked about in the videos, land on a contract, no matter what contract it is. I definitely prefer scavs, but I'm trying to prioritize getting a contract this game. A little bit of bad landing because I was reading chat. I hear this guy land in behind me, and so I know that I need to find a gun right away. Usually my advice 99% of the time is to not prioritize like landing directly onto the contract. I'd always say try to get a gun and defend your area. That's what I try to do here. This guy's above me, sort of following my audio. I run through like half of TV and don't find a gun. Insane. This fight actually ends up being a little hairy. Get a plate, get a gun, put plates on. So just based on audio cues from earlier, this is why it's really, really important to remember audio cues, because they are just free information, free UAV. Based on the audio cues from earlier, when I was running this way through TV over to our left, I heard the guy running above me. And so, because I didn't hear the doors open and he didn't go roof, I didn't hear ladder, the only place he can really be now is in this room. And so a lot of people be like, why are you staring at this room? And it's because I'm remembering my audio cues from earlier. Throw that to try and bait him. Do get a little bit of first shots there. Haven't put on plates yet. Plate, I hear him sort of approach me to the other window. Turn around, break his plates. I just want to make sure that we have good centering. That way he doesn't come out. If he does come out, we're going to punish it. So then I hear him come outside, and now he's above me. This is a little bit dangerous because he could jump down from literally anywhere. So I try to shut the door and play it up here. Play the door. He ends up jumping down to my left. Crouch behind. Let me back this up a little bit. And so what I'm trying to do here, we talked about in the last long form video, how to win a 1v1. It's get first shots and track better. And so what I'm trying to do here, obviously we get first shots on this. I only can skip at 5-second increments, so that's why this is doing this. We get a plate, put on a plate. The guy's now above us. It's a little bit hairy. So I want to make sure I have my plates on and have good centering, right? Like this guy could jump down literally anywhere down here. And so I just need to be ready for that. You could argue that maybe I should run away because he has a good power position, but I want to fight this guy. So now he gets first shots. What's he going to think, right? He gets first shots, but I crouch down. He's going to try and play this aggressive. So he's going to run at me. I know that if he runs at me, that's an opportunity for me to break his camera. Now, obviously, I'm not thinking all of these things, in the moment. This is more practice, habits, instinct type of stuff. But this is what I'm trying to do here, right? Because he gets too aggressive on me, I'm able to use that to break his camera. We start with hipfire. This guy has literally no chance. Literally no chance. You could see him laying on the ground. Just imagine from his POV what that looked like. He probably couldn't even see me. So, first kill right off the rip. People say my enemies don't shoot back. I play in, BR casual. Prime example right there. Now, does that mean the entire lobby is going to be like that? No. There's going to be some bots in this lobby, but for the most part, this is one of the sweatier lobbies I've had in a long time. So right away, we start doing the scav. What I see a lot of beginner players, intermediate players do is they just waste a lot of time in their early game. Originally, I was trying to record this video as a phases video, talking about the phases of Warzone. Right now, we're in the early game phase. The early game phase, the only goal is to get your loadout down as soon as possible. And so because that guy was in the way of my goal, I had to deal with him. But as soon as we kill him, we're not going to sit there and loot TV. We've already got the scav. If we finish the scav, we'll have enough money for loadout. Spend less time looting. Get your loadout down. In solos at 6K, I like doing scav because you always get a satchel from a scav. And very often you get a self-res too. So there's a couple different ways I could have went there. Let's back this up. There's a couple different buy stations I could have went to. Yes, I could have grabbed car and maybe gone over here and gotten a little bit more aggressive on a sweatier area of the map. But I've been liking my TV rotates into the buy recently. And I also know that everyone out of downtown is going to have to rotate in towards me. And this ends up being a pretty decent decision that lets me pick up a couple kills, right? When possible, we want to zone hold because it's just free, free first shots, free damage. free info, free advantage in any gunfight. You know, if you can hold someone pushing in from the zone, try to do it when you can. By the way, if you guys enjoy these breakdowns, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'm doing this live on stream right now also. Stream Tuesday through Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern. People in the chat right now can say hi to the YouTube video if they want. Alright, so I do have a bounty on me. I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit. Trying to work our way over to the buy station, get our loadout down. And so if I had my audio right now, you'd hear me saying that none of these doors are open. That's obviously this one is open. I do catch that. This window and this door is open, but this isn't open. And so something that you can do when you go into an area that you don't have information on, when you don't have a UAV, when you don't have audio cues, when you don't see shots, you can check and see if doors or windows are busted or chests are open. When I'm running through Big Blue, I'm literally hearing a bunch of chests above me. And so I'm like, all right, I'm fairly safe here. Like, that doesn't mean there's nobody here. But that's sort of how I check areas without a UAV. Got this stupid slide jump bug. Right away, I hear shots. If we look up here in the top left, we see that there's a guy right here. And so that's going to inform my decision making. I'm assuming that he's my bounty. I'm just assuming that. I don't know that for sure. But because this guy's close, now we have information. He could be hunting me. So I need to get my loadout down ASAP. Throw my loadout down in a safe spot. Put it between me and him in the building.
Loadout drop, headed your way.
So when we get our loadout down, what do? Try to make sure that we're catching good timing on this guy. Shut the door behind us. Where's that guy going to potentially come from, right? Like, if he was over here, like we saw earlier, and he saw that red smoke, you know, he hears that noise, he's pushing towards me on the... If he's playing aggressive, right? He would probably, if I was this guy, be pushing this way. And so one of the areas that I'm most likely to see this person is right here. And so this is one of those situations, and I've talked about this in a lot of my videos, where there are 99 times out of 100, I will predict that someone's going to do something just to play defense. But then the one time that the person actually runs through, they're like, oh, walls, how did you know he was there? No. Again, just an example of me predicting and not being successful. So very, very, very short ping we just got right here. So now I know there's a guy on bank. So I look up towards bank. I don't know if it's the same guy, so I have to be a little bit careful here. This is a good example of trigger discipline. Against any sweaty player, right? Like, this video is going to be something around, like, how to fight in lobbies that shoot back. If you don't have good trigger discipline and you shoot at a good sweaty player and they get away from you, like, that is just asking to die. You're just giving your position away. You're giving them extra life. When you run into somebody that's moving around a lot, you want to make sure that you're going to get the kill. In this situation, if we look really closely towards the middle here, I don't know that I'm going to be able to kill this guy, right? Like, you guys might not know this, but you lose aim assist on trees. And so if this guy runs any to the left, I might lose aim assist. I want to make sure that I kill this guy. And so I know he doesn't see me at the moment. I go to shoot, he jumps off, I get a little lucky. Get a little lucky here. Could have lost aim assist on that tree, but it is what it is. We got it. Let's back it up just a second here.
Tracking you. You lost them.
We're checking from our right, making sure that guy from earlier isn't there. I see him right there. A lot of you guys would shoot here. This is sort of what I was talking about. Less so me being on the right here. A lot of you guys would just, oh, I see guy, shoot guy. Instead, I played a little patient. Wait for a good opportunity. All right, let's move on to the next fight. Pull up the mini-map here. We do have loadout bread. Got everything we need right now. I'm looking on the map for a contract. One of the biggest things that people need to adapt to, and you might have if you watch some of the videos, is contracts are cash. Contracts are king. Literally, you need to always be trying to do a contract. Doesn't mean you have to finish it, but always try to grab one. Right now, I'm looking. Recons are pretty low on my priority list, right? So I'm not going to go do a recon. Taking note that this guy, or that there's a cluster strike over here at Quarry. And so right now, I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do. I don't have a contract up. I could go pop a UAV. I could go grab this car. These are all just the things that I'm thinking about here.
Recon contract marked.
Mark the recon in case I want to go do it. Usually, I won't go do a recon contract. I think I make my way over to this game because I pop a UAV here. And there ends up being a guy. Normally, I won't do... I don't even think I end up grabbing this. Yeah. So we come over here. We see this guy. I ping him. Trigger discipline. I'm probably not going to be able to kill that guy. Let's back it up just a second here, if it'll let me. You could argue that, yes, the AMAX is broken and I could kill that guy, but it looks like he has decent movement. And again, I'm going to lose aim assist on this tree, on this pole.
Enemy here.
Probably, you could argue that I should have shot there, but I wasn't super confident that I was going to get the kill. So one thing that I've been trying to work on is pinging people, but you got to be really careful when you do ping people because it'll give them a little like marked notification down here. At least I'm pretty sure. And so me pinging that gave that guy info that there was somebody looking at him, potentially. I need to go test that in Plunder, but I think that's what's happening. And so I have to play this a little bit careful now because this guy looks at me. So I'm like, all right, I don't know for sure if this guy knows me. I'm just going to burn my UAV. And we can tell by the arrow. I'm running bird's eye, by the way, which will show you ghosted players. It extends your UAV range and shows you ghosted players. Now we know there's ghosted players over here. But when a player is not ghosted, it'll turn them into an arrow. So ghosted means there'll be a circle. Non-ghosted means they're an arrow if you're running the bird's eye perk. The reason I run the bird's eye perk is because I'm trying to play very aggressive right now. I don't want to run into a bunch of ghosted players. And this is going to tell me which way he's looking. So you can kind of see that the diamond is pointing towards me. Now I know that this guy knows I'm here. So I got to play this a little bit different than had he just been grabbing the recon and kind of dilly-dallying through the neighborhood. Play a little bit of an off angle here. I notice he doesn't have vision. He grabs the recon. While I'm pushing up here, I'm aware of the fact that he's going to hear my audio. So he slides up. You got to think about how you're being perceived, right? Like, people can hear you just as easy as you can hear them, and sometimes it feels like they can hear you better. I hear him slide, I get first shots, and I play really aggressive. Get first shots, play really aggressive. Let me back it up if I can. The second I get first shots, I'm like, all right, I'm going to use that to my advantage. This is what sweaty players do. They get first shots, they keep the pressure. Unfortunately, I get a little bit of a dead slide here, but we save it with hip fire. Right away, you guys can't see my eyes right now, but my eyes are looking up at my mini-map. I'm concerned about this guy maybe trying to third-party me. I'm pretty sure that red dot is him in the car. It's just lagging behind. And so right away, the second I get out of that gunfight, what a lot of you guys would do is just go sit there and loot, stare at his guns. Maybe I want this gun. Oh, maybe I should swap out this grenade for this grenade. No, you need to be ready for the next gunfight. Now, this guy doesn't end up pushing us, so it's fine. All right, so we got our UAV up here. We see 1 dot here, 3 dots here, 1 close. This guy's driving away. And so let me switch to green. This guy's driving away, so we know we're not going to go there. I've talked about recently in a lot of my videos and with a lot of my coaching students, I don't like to fight downtown. Downtown gets really hairy. Also, another variable here. Everyone that's outside of this line has to rotate in. And so, yes, I could go fight this, but it'd be kind of a waste of time. When you're in higher skill lobbies, when you're trying to chase high kill games like I am, you want to be very efficient with the things you're doing. Otherwise, the lobbies are just going to die out super fast. So I decide to go push red because I know that eventually anyone that's here is going to have to come to me anyways. And so if I go kill them now, that's a waste of time. Whereas if I go kill big red, then I can turn and immediately look and remember that all these guys have to rotate in towards me. So that's what we end up doing here. I'll skip ahead a little bit. I try to play big blue. This guy goes to restaurant. That guy probably doesn't know I'm here, and so I just play aggressive on this. He could come out of this, so this is a little bit of a risk. This is a little bit of a risk. He could hear me parachuting. He could have heard me on metal. Might hear me chasing. Maybe he'll come out and look. That's the risk I'm willing to take. But to save myself a little bit, I try to play this wall as cover because you can walk on this ledge. That's why I decided to go to this side instead of the other side. So I center, make sure our crosshair's centered on where we're most likely to see this guy. And then I hear him in the corner. I was too busy yapping, so you couldn't hear him. Use an impact grenade for first shots. Come in with pre-fire. Dead. Let me back it up just a second. This is very simple 1v1 stuff. A couple of these kills have been not great players. Let me back it up just a little bit. A couple of these recent kills have been not great players, but I promise you, there's a lot of sweats in this game. So we hear that guy. We use our impact grenade for first shots. This is very basic 1v1 stuff. Get first shots and track better. I'm already shooting. Look. My gun is already shooting before I even hit the corner. This is a really good way to help you get 1 or 2 or 3 more bullets in a gunfight. Like, starting with a slide and hip fire before you even see the guy, especially when you know where he is, it's just free damage. It's also going to mean that I take less damage.
Reloading.
All right, so got that kill. We have enough bread. There's a Ladra bug right now where it's not reloading. Costing me one of my games today. I've already popped a UAV over here. I've already popped a UAV over here twice now. And so I kind of have a rule that, like, it's not like a law, but it is a rule that generally I don't want to pop 3 UAVs in one location. If you absolutely have to, if it's gonna save your life, yes. But I should already in the back of my mind know where everyone's at right now, right? Like we popped the UAV, we're trying to remember where more players are than just the one. I still know there's people coming out of downtown. Let's skip ahead a little bit here. So right now I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to push this, similar to earlier. But I'm also a little wary of him grabbing the car and leaving. I don't want to let him leave for free, right? So that's something that I'm thinking about. I start to go back to the right just to make sure I have no tree in the way of me aiming at the car. I notice he's peeking me again at the door. He's right here, just peeked it. And he goes back left, shuts the door. Yep, so when he shuts the door, I'm like, all right, well, he's not coming out to the right now. Let me go back to the left. I don't want to play over-aggressive on this because this guy might hear me parachute, and this might be the guy. End up getting a free kill on that guy. Pretty sure here in a second, like 3 cars roll up. Got shots over there. Yup. Literally, everybody rotating out of downtown, just like I said earlier. We got one guy here, here. So really, right now, I just need to make sure. Actually, let me ask you guys this. What would be your biggest threat here? And I'm not necessarily talking to chat, just anybody watching this, YouTube video or live. What would be your biggest threat here? Right? You got 3 cars pulling up. Just think about it for a second. You're probably not going to kill any of these guys because they're moving. Shooting at a car and controller is not necessarily easy unless he just drives straight at you through here, which is why my crosshair is centered here, right? Like if this 4-wheeler drives through here, he's dead. But your biggest threat is somebody, you know, driving the car and getting out at your building. That's your biggest threat. And so what I've talked a lot about with my coaching students is like, don't give up your positioning or your power positioning for free. Don't let another player give it to you for... That's a bad way of saying it. When another player is giving you their power positioning for free, you got to make sure you punish it and take advantage of it, right? Like if somebody's going to give you the low ground of their building, that's something you should punish. That's a mistake. And so what I'm doing here is I decide, okay, I don't want to let this guy get inside my building because they might get out. So I get my crosshair centered on where they might come into my building. Again, one of those situations where 99 times out of 100, I'm just doing that to make sure no one, you know, I'm just doing it defensively. And then the one time somebody sees me actually kill somebody that way, they're like, oh, he's hacking. Just gotta point that out. I don't think a lot of people realize that. All right, so as we're pulling up to the loadout here, I already know immediately what I'm gonna do, right? Like this is a little scary for some people because you're scared you might get sniped or shot. This is very easy. Anybody camping a loadout typically isn't that great of a player anyways. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push up here and I'm gonna get out because loadouts are very, very, very broken head glitches. I know that this guy's gonna visually watch the car drive by and I'm gonna be able to get out on the loadout and fry him. Right? Free. Because you gotta think from his perspective, the car and the loadout head glitch, like that guy just had no chance. No chance.
Changing mags.
Anybody that's fought somebody on a loadout knows how hard it is to hit that. All right, and so contracts refresh after every zone close. So now I'm trying to figure out what contract I want to do. Doesn't really matter if I do a bounty or a supply run there. You could argue for either. I decided to do the bounty to play aggressive. We hear shots up above us, so I look up at my minimap. You can kind of see it fading away right now. There's a guy up on this roof. He's shooting and looking this direction. And so I know that as I drive up here, I'm about to be driving in between 2 players, but I'm not really sweating it because I know how I'm going to play this. So I just heard him pop his self-res. The guy probably finishes him there, turns his sights on me. We talked about this earlier. If someone's gonna let you take their low ground, right? If they're not gonna protect their building, You need to punish that. You need to take advantage of that. So that's what I do. I immediately get out, run straight for the door. Because what's he going to do? He's going to come and look over the roof. Sky a nade. Try and get some damage. That was a perfect sky nade. I go to climb this. What's this guy gonna, you know, a smart player is gonna hear that ladder or hear me pushing underneath. They're gonna look, right? Like, that's the smart play out of him. So I peek this and then I just jump straight down. Throws a gas grenade at me. And I'm trying, I know that there's a jump. This is one of my favorite buildings in Verdansk, and I know there's a jump spot here to get up to the roof, and I was trying to find it. It ends up being on the right. But I need this guy to not hear me do it. And so I'm trying to finesse right now, give myself a window to do this. So this little thing right here, I'm 90% sure you can jump onto and then jump onto the roof. Would have been an insane TikTok clip, but then I get sniped. Too much hesitation here. Too much hesitation here. Is what it is. So we go to Gulag. My Gulag strat is always run to the middle with my knife and then sound whore. Pretty sure this guy ends up being AFK though. Yep. So we check right, we check middle, don't hear any footsteps. I can just throw my Molotov and get the kill. Cool. Alright. And so this is why doing contracts are super important. I've already accrued a ton of cash, right? I guess we've only done one contract so far, so maybe you don't listen to that point. But I've already done a lot. This is why the mid game is about doing objectives in the form of contracts or kills. Either way, because I'm running scav, I've picked up a lot of cash. We have enough money to immediately get our loadout. This is why playing aggressive and doing a lot of objectives is important, because even if you die, you can still get back into the game. Why it's important that I ping this is because I love doing this in the regain phase, right? Like when we're coming out of the gulag. Because I've done these contracts, if I do a supply run, I'm going to get a free self-res, get the money for the contract reward, and then be able to get a loadout. That's what's going through my head here. As I'm landing in, I know I have enough for loadout, so I just prioritize loadout. Pop that down. Saw loot as I was flying in. So I try to figure out what's here. Don't like the ladder build, but I do like the AMAX build. It looks pretty decent. It's got a compensator. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to risk it. I'm going to go for my 8 attachment SMG here, because this guy's just going to give me nice little AMAX. All right, so from here, I do want to do a contract. We're a little behind, at least in my head. I try to do at least 4 or 5 contracts every game because it just helps with the money. And so right now I'm thinking I need to do a contract. As we're pushing over here, grab that. Got a cart drives by us. This is trigger discipline again. You could argue that I could shoot at this guy and maybe kill him, but it's pretty low percentage. You used to be able to fry people out of cars in OG Warzone. Right now, it's a little bit harder to kill people in cars right now. And since I'm kind of out in the middle of the open, I'm on low ground, there could be people behind me, I decided it's just not worth it. I want to see if he gets out of the building, maybe I'll push him. End up just making my way up to the buy station. One thing that I think will help a lot of you guys is going into the buy station with a plan. Catch a spring mine on that. Going into the buy station with a plan. I almost always, if you guys watch the streams or the videos, I almost always go into a buy station with a plan. I'll literally say it out loud. Half the time I'm like, all right, I'm going to go in, I'm going to get a self-res, I'm going to get a UAV, pop the UAV, and then maybe another UAV. Something along those lines. Because the quicker you can get in and out of the buy station, the less likely you are to get sniped, right? Like, being on the buy station is very, very, very dangerous. Quick tip, they added a setting. If you guys go into your settings, you can make it to where it's off by default, but you can make it where if you get shot when you're in the buy station menu, it'll kick you out of the buy station menu. Something to think about. I have turned it on, but I haven't noticed it. I haven't noticed it work yet. Grab a self-res and a cluster. Probably should have went with the UAV. Probably should have went with UAV, but I'm starting to think more about the end game here. Definitely should have went with the UAV. Alright. So, okay. As I'm driving away here, let me back it up. I got sniped at from somewhere when I was on the buy, or when I was pulling up to the buy. Should have seat swapped there. Almost got me killed. And so this guy, a lot of times with snipers, like, you guys might disagree with this, but I'm confident. I'm confident in my ability to make snipers miss, either with my movement or my car. Like, sniping is not easy for the average player, right? Like, I'm driving a car, he's not going to have aim assist. I'm confident in my ability to make this guy miss. And so that's all I'm trying to do here. I just kind of zigzag, weave, try to set myself up with cover to kill this guy. Make him miss. Go left. Dodges it last second. Goes into the bush. Lose aim assist on the bush. Did a good job of recovering right there. Throw a smoke down, immediately start plating. I don't know what's around me. I'll make sure we're safe here.
Advise you to load up now. Enemy UAV is online.
Okay, so from here, we have enough money for another UAV. I hear footsteps behind me. Now that I'm looking at it, I didn't catch this guy here. Usually, a lot of times when someone pops UAV, the most likely place they are to be is on the buy station. And so that's why I headed towards this, is because I was trying to buy a UAV, and also someone just popped one. It ends up working out here. I ends up being close. Hit this really quick. The guy's getting shot at by over here. And so now I'm in a little bit of an awkward sandwich, right? We got one here, one here. They're both probably sniping just because it's Warzone. And so the best play right now is to just kind of sandwich myself. Either very quickly attack one player and get them out, or use the cover in between these two pillars.
Enemy squad is hunting you. Stay sharp.
All right, so I see that this dot updates and comes a little bit closer. And so I'm just listening. I'm just listening for this guy to run out, right? And make himself a free kill. Right, because he just killed somebody close. He saw me pull up. He's wanting to get a little bit more aggressive. I just watched the dot and waited for him to push up, right? Like, if I would have sat there and started shooting at him, what's he going to do? He's going to freeze and use the rock as cover. But by acting like I'm scared or passive or not looking, I just give him an opportunity to make a free mistake. So right away, we take out one player. We know the next one is sniping. This is another situation where use all the tools in your tool belt, use your movement, your cars to make snipers miss. The goal is to get as close to them as you can, so you can, actually kill them. I get first shots. Absolutely fry this kid. Burn both our smokes in the process. Pick up smokes from him. The end of this game is very sweaty. One of the sweatier end games I've had in a little while. All right. So because there's a lot of cars and I heard some stuff over here, I know that there's probably players over here, and I just want to put myself in that area. I heard some sort of like pop or smoke over here, and so I just try to drive and put myself near it. I'm like, okay, maybe there's a guy on this. I might have saw a red dot over here as well earlier. Just want to make sure this guy's not laying out here for free. Now I got to be really careful when I pull up to this, because I almost always, as a general rule of thumb, whenever you see this yellow building, this is probably, just from my experience, one of the buildings that almost always has a player in it, no matter where you are on the map. You got to be really careful with this building. It is a fun building to fight at because all the jump spots, but something to think about. Let us bail. Look at my mini-map. I see a guy. Use the ping to let me know exactly where he is. I don't have to remember. But I just lost plates. So we stop here, plate up, get back in the car, start pushing this guy. We back it up a little bit. This is another instance of we run into a sniper. We talked about this before. You just want to try and make the sniper miss and get as close as you can to them, right? Like, if I get out of this car and try and get into a 1v1 with him, I'm probably going to lose, right? Like, I'm not going to kill this guy with an AR from here. So I see him. I literally say on stream, I'm going to go left to cut off his vision with the tree and his own cover. And then he's going to try and run over to the left. Like, I'm going to, because you guys might not believe me, I'm going to back this up. And we're going to pull up my own audio. A lot of you guys think I'm BSing sometimes, but I literally said this while I was live. 10 with 20. Oh, God. Fucking sniper, bro. I'm going to make him switch the other window. Now I'm going to come back to this window. Oh, God. He played aggro. All right. Just so you guys don't think I'm BSing. That's stuff that literally goes through my head while I'm playing. All right. So, back it up just a little bit. Wasn't expecting this guy to play aggressive. The second he does play aggressive, I'm immediately like alarm bells go off in my head. Because normally people don't let you do this. So the second this happens, I'm immediately in defense mode. We talk a lot about 1v1s. Getting first shots gives you an advantage. So right now, this is not a 50-50 gunfight, right? Like, he just got damage on me. This is probably like a... I'd say like a 20-80 gunfight. Because he just jumped out the window, broke half of my plates, more than half, and he's right behind me. And so I just need to use my movement and my plating to try and just make this... my only goal here is to not win this gunfight. It's to survive and get it back to a 50-50. From there, then we go to the point where we're trying to get first shots. So I use the cover, plate up, listening, realize he's not chasing all the way. This guy ends up being a pretty decent player. Uses his grenades. We don't want to give up our low ground for free. Throws a smoke. We're just listening right now. We just want to protect our stairwell. See if I can catch some easy damage. You don't want to slide down there because smokes break aim assist. I don't know if this guy has access to a jump spot, so I'm thinking about that right now. I think this guy snipes my legs here. And now we're kind of just in a stale 50-50 gunfight here. Pop my munitions, because you could argue, yes, like we've talked about the endgame checklist. I really didn't want to pop my munitions here, but I know that because this is a little bit of a better player, a little bit of a sweatier fight, that these impacts could be the difference between me going to the gulag here and not going to the gulag. Well, I guess I would have just died. But I decided it was worth it to burn, because this guy was pretty good. I want to use all the tools I can. Gets a quick snipe. What's that guy going to think? He's got first shots. I'm super low. What's he going to think? He's going to push. So immediately, I jump out. Make sure I'm putting on more plates. I hear him outside. Use an impact grenade to get first shots. Now I have the advantage. Very good fight out of that guy. Very, very good fight out of that guy. So we traded getting first shots, I think, 3 times right there. Very sweaty, very extended gunfight.
Got gas inbound. Safe zone relocated.
Okay, and so from here, we're definitely in the end game now. Make sure I seat swap so I don't get sniped. I'm looking to come up to this buy station, but almost always it's pretty likely that when you go to a buy station, especially near a building that has a window to camp in, there's almost always going to be somebody there. So as I'm pushing up, I'm keeping my eyes on this window. I can't show... I mean, I guess I could show you guys. You can see my eyes. I'm looking right up at this window. Looking right up at this window. This guy's here, so I know. Gotta play this a little bit different. Use the rocks as cover. Hit a different angle. Throw nades at him. I just wanna... We talked about this earlier. If somebody's gonna make a mistake and let you get inside their building, you need to take advantage of it, right? I don't want to sit here and just stare at this guy. If I just sit here and stare at this guy, I am going to lose this gunfight, or I'm going to get sniped in the back. That's just what's going to happen. I'm going to get sniped in the back if I let this fight take too long. So I use this guy's own cover. Obviously, I have to move because of the precision. The reason I throw that smoke down right there is because I know I have this munitions that I need to pop anyways. I want this guy to think that I'm over on the other side of the building. The reason I'm doing that is because I know that I'm about to hit this jump spot. I'm setting up this jump spot that I want to hit. But I can't because of the cluster. Make sure he's not in the corner. Hit the window. Hit this. Center. And just like I talked about. Had I sat on that cliff earlier, I would have gotten sniped just like I just did. By the way, if you guys are enjoying this breakdown and you want to have me do a breakdown of your own gameplay, I do have a coaching program. The link for that is in the description. We do weekly group calls, break down your guys' gameplay, even offer one-on-one stuff. Link in the description. All right. Trying to keep up on our endgame checklist here. Pop a UAV, there's a couple things we could talk about. Trying to keep up on my endgame checklist. We've talked a lot about in the videos, having a self-res, having armor, having a gas mask, having smokes, and a munitions box. Right now, I don't have my munitions box. I need to pop 2 munitions box, basically, because I don't have enough smokes, and I always want to have a munitions box for later in the game. One of the bigger tips I'll give you for this endgame checklist is to make sure you try and hold on to your useful tools as long as you can. If you absolutely need to burn it to save your life or give yourself an advantage that you need, use it. But the longer you hold on to these things going into the end game, the more likely you are to have success in your end games. Right? Because like if you burn it too early, then you don't have it for when you absolutely need it in a 1v1 situation. All right, so we got a lot of players near us. Taking note of that. Look up at the map. Just mentally taking note of, we got a guy here, got a guy here. These both are ghosted. Both of these guys are ghosted because they're circles. I have bird's eye, so that means if they're a triangle, they're not ghosted. So we got 2 guys about to fight, slash maybe parachuting in, and then 2 guys over here.
Move in here.
I still want to play aggressive, just because I'm a greedy content streamer, man. But just trying to figure out how I want to do that right now. The easiest kill is probably where I'm about to go, just because I got sniped by this guy. Like, let's just pretend the minimap's a little bit more extended here. I got sniped by this guy that was up on the hill. And so the easier thing for me to do is to jump down to low ground, grab my car, and then hit the guy that's close, rather than grab the car, drive uphill to a sniper. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we do. Grab the car, push over to this guy, and I'm pretty sure this ends up being the same sweaty player we ran into earlier. So again, the goal is to just get first shots and track better. We hear him above us. Gets first shots. He chases, so I throw a smoke down and plate up. Smoke is going to save my life here. If he decides to push, it's going to save my life because it'll break aim assist, give me enough time to get my plates. All right, so he got first shots. Immediately, I play defensive and try to get this back to a 50-50. Once it's back to a 50-50, now I get a little bit more aggressive. Slide out, good centering. Trying to cut off all the angles this guy can see me. Just based on audio cues, I can kind of tell this guy's a little close. And so one easy way for me to get first shots right now would be to use my impact grenades, but I'm still trying to figure it out. Yep, we can kind of hear him. I could tell, I wasn't super confident in it, but I could tell he was, just because he was, you heard like a little jump and a fall and a jump and a fall. He's definitely on top of this fence. I should have played this according to that, but it ends up working out. Get first shots. See if he jumps out the window. First shots again. Now his plates are broken. Yes, this guy shot me, but I know this guy's plates are broken. I need to play this as aggressive as I can. When you're playing against a good player and you get first shots, you absolutely need to keep the pressure. If you just let them get it back to a 50-50, you're going to end up fighting a player like me that the second I get it back to a 50-50, you're screwed. You know what I mean? Because now I know where you are. And so the second you get first shots, you want to make sure you play aggressive, especially when you break their plates. So I break his plates, try to pre-fire, see him jump out the window into the left. And so I jump out the window into the left and try to cut him off. Shoot his body because it was the second time I fought this guy. He was a good player. I was just BMing.
Switching max.
Is what it is. That guy was a good player. That was a good player. Alright, so now we're just checking our inventory, checking our tools, make sure we got everything we need. No snipers up on the hill. Get in the car and go. Alright, so now I absolutely have to think about positioning. Let me back it up just a hair here. Now I absolutely have to think about positioning. We're absolutely in the end game here. Like, I probably should have started focusing on it a little bit earlier. But I was getting a little greedy. So now we're thinking about end game. This is where mentally I shift to, okay, positioning. I need to think about positioning. So if you look at the map right now, some of you guys that are in the stream already know what happens, but I just want you to think about where would you go? Where should you go? And what are the obstacles that you might run into doing that? Just give you a second. There's a couple obvious options. I'll say right away, you definitely don't want to be down here, right? Because this is low ground. So anything up here is probably pretty good, right? So if you pick something up here, good job. I end up picking this simply because it's the closest thing for me to do. The longer I'm driving around in this small zone with 10 people, the more likely I am to get shot at. And so I just go to the closest one. You could also argue for here, but this is going to be really hard because there's multiple buildings to get shot at from. Whereas, like, if I just push this building, I only really need to worry about that one building, right? I might also get out at this one close right. But I think I just drive, yeah, I think I just drive straight up. Now, the obstacle to doing that is I have to assume there's somebody here. I have to. There's cars here, and there's a neighborhood nearby. There's absolutely going to be somebody here, and so I play this fight according to that. I don't see him. But I just play with the assumption that there's some kid in the corner here with 2 spring mines, right? But if he's going to give us low ground, we play low ground. I shoulder, check out all the areas where this guy could be ratting. Make sure he's not in the bathroom. Slide out, make sure I have good centering. Slide out, make sure I have good centering. Or shoulder, I mean. Second I shoulder, he gets first shots, so I immediately play defense. He doesn't chase, he jumps outside for some reason. And so, like, prime example, if he's gonna give, like, for whatever reason, this guy gives up his high ground and jumps down. Take it. You know what I'm saying? So I hear footsteps to my right. I don't want to let this guy come into my building, right? Like, now this is, like, I'm Shrek. This is my swamp. You know what I'm saying? Don't want to let this guy in my building. So I want to make sure that I punish him if he does. Yep. He's right there. Slide out. Start with hip fire. Break his camera. Dead. Get first shots. Track better. A lot of you guys would have just let that guy come in and you just would have sat there shivering and shaking in the corner like that guy originally was and just waiting for him to push up, and then he slides out and kills you. I try to break this guy's camera and get it over with before he even has the chance to do anything like that. All right. And so now look at the minimap up here. What is your biggest threat? You just got out of a gunfight. You're fine on tools, plates, everything. You're good there. Just look at the minimap. What's your biggest threat? Our biggest threat is somebody we know is probably neighborhood or some of the snipers over here earlier rotating in, right? This is a free zone hold if you play it right. Again, we're talking about we don't want to let people take our building for free. So I know there's going to be people that are going to have to rotate. At least one, bro. At least one. And so I'm just trying to make sure, set myself up. I don't really necessarily have to worry about it right this second. But as the zone starts to close, we're definitely going to have to worry about that. Throw it on the trophy. We'll see this play out later, but the reason I throw down this trophy is because I've played this building so many times that, like, it's so easy to just throw things in this building and then push somebody. So I'm like, all right, I got a trophy. I might as well use it. It ends up actually coming in handy, but it didn't really affect anything because I wasn't up there to begin with. I don't like playing roof of this building because it's not very defensible. So zone is starting to close. Now I need to think about somebody coming in. And so a lot of you guys would just sit in the roof and wait for this guy, and then he would take your low ground, push up, and kill you. But we want to punish him, right? Like, if he's rotating in late, he's out in the middle of the open, he's in no man's land, we want to punish that, right? And so I'm sitting in this window, just shouldering back and forth, making sure I'm moving, not getting sniped. But I want to make sure that if somebody pushes me, they're going to die. Again, if you guys are enjoying this, make sure to leave a like. Pop that so it's just not covering up my audio. Even the trophy was covering my audio a little bit. I end up hearing this guy, I think.
Gas is inbound. Marking new safe zone.
Okay, so now I know that for the most part, there's nobody like let me switch to green here. There's nobody, like, for the most part right here. They still could be over here or over here, hiding behind the loadout, rotating down, like. But for the most part, I've already kind of done my due diligence of covering anybody coming out of house. That doesn't mean there's nobody here, but I've done my part.
Be advised, jailbreak is imminent.
Jailbreak pops.
Move in here.
I'm already immediately starting to think about our next position. You guys kind of already see where I go. Frick. You guys already kind of see where I go, so I'm not going to ask you to think about it. But I'll tell you, the reason I ping this building is because I know that I have a car. So I can rotate a little late here. I want to try and maintain high ground. You can sort of tell that there's a cliff right here. If I put myself in the best position on high ground, I'm setting myself up later in the game to punish anyone that's down here, right? And that's exactly what ends up happening. And so, obviously, we don't want to be down here. Just a general rule of playing high ground. Ping the building just so I know.
Jailbreak is imminent.
Right, looking.
Move in here.
But then either this guy shoots at me, I don't know what it is. Yep, so here's smoke. That guy smoking means he's probably trying to push me. Like, he's probably using the smoke to try and get into my building. And so I'm like, oh, hell no. I don't want to let this guy take my building. Slide up. He starts to shoot at me. He's got first shots. We played up and hit a different angle. Right? I don't want to repeat that same angle because now he's just pre-aimed on it. Hear the footsteps. He's on snow. That means he's really close. He's really close inside this building. I know that because of the way I would play this building, that I purposely play this off corner angle because not only does it protect me from where this guy's coming from, but also because I know that this guy's not going to expect it, right? Like anyone pushing this building is probably going to expect that I'm on the roof again, right? Like, or in the attic. So I play this off angle with the goal of him not hearing me and just trying to cover.
Heads up, Shellbreaker's active. Watch the sky blossom.
To be fair to him, he does do his due diligence of like throwing the impact nades up to try and get information on whether or not I'm in there, right? Like he threw a grenade in that roof to try and see if I was in there, but he doesn't get that info because of my trophy system. So now he's coming into this building blind. That is a prime example of like the little one tiny 0.5% things that you do in a game can like be the difference between you winning or losing. So because I was just like, oh, I have this trophy system, I'm going to throw this down. Like, why not? I might as well, because I know the way people play this building. Because of that, you know, 3 minutes later, this guy comes to push me. Now he can't use his grenades to get information. Now he doesn't know where I'm at. So he kind of has to push into this building blind, which gives me the advantage. I'm not saying I planned all that out, but it's just those like little 1% habits that you can kind of start to develop that'll, like, anything can get you killed in Warzone. But also on the same, or on the other side of that coin, anything can help you in Warzone. So I have to think about something like that.
Switching mags.
That was a good player too. That was a really good player too. Could have been a sweaty gunfight. Okay, and so from here, I've done my due diligence of holding people. I need to start thinking about where I'm gonna go. Okay, and so you could go on foot. I think going on foot's a little bit more dangerous than the car though. Let's say we're trying to get to green ping. What are our threats going to green ping? Our threats going to green ping is if we go too early and there's other people rotating in with us, right? So we don't want to go too early. We kind of want to use the car to leak into the zone. Not last second, but we just want to make sure that there's nobody hiding in these rocks up here or rotating in from this building with us, right? So we just want to do our due diligence of making sure no one's here with us. Throw a smoke. This is very late in the game. I just killed a guy. They heard it. Seat swap, use the smoke so I don't get sniped. Ends up being a good decision because there's a sniper up here. I don't think he would have seen me anyways, but as I'm driving around up here, just like I said, the reason we didn't want to just full send it to the building is because now there's a guy here. I quickly turn, make this guy miss. That almost got me killed. I would have cried. Then we use our building as cover. So now this guy's screwed, right? Like he's not in the zone, and even when he is in the zone, he's not going to have any cover. So realistically, I don't have to fight this guy. I can kind of just wait, but I want to start focusing on where other players are, right? Like there's 5 other players. The longer I take with this gunfight, the less I'm able to gather information on what's happening in the rest of the zone. And so yes, I could just wait this guy out and make him come to me, but I don't. Also, just want to point out I have 30 grand. That's why contracts are important. Repositioning every single time. I've made a sniper video, or in the tips video I talk about snipers. Always trying to hit them from a different angle. Always trying to hit them from a different angle. And then he just has to move, right? Because I threw an impact nade at him. He doesn't want to get hit by the impact nade. He has to move. Anything you can do to be a hard target, not re-peek from the same angle, is going to help you against snipers. Again, trophy system, I'm like, why not? Let's use it. From here, if we look at the zone, now, because we grabbed high ground, we still have high ground up here. From this point in the game, I'm like 80 to 90% like confident that I'm going to win this game. But we still need to think about our threats. So if you look at this zone, what are our threats? Right? Like nobody can come up the cliff, but they can come up this way, right? And so I do need to think about that. I'm keeping that in the back of the head the entire time. There's only 3 guys left. It's most likely that at least 2 of them are over here, but one of them could be leaking in on my sides. So I'm trying to check shoulder for information, make sure there's no other players around me. Doing my best to make sure, right? Like I don't know for sure. Now I know for sure there's one. Like we got 3 guys left. One of them is outside. We talked about when you have a power position, you want to defend it. You don't want to let people take it for free. And so when I see this car start to drive up to me, I'm like, bro, I'm not just going to give this to you for free. Like I'm going to punish you for being in this car and trying to come up here. So I start shooting at this guy. Maybe I get 1 or 2, ticks of damage on him. Put some damage on his car, and that makes him turn back down the hill. The second I come out, I'm like, okay, if there's anyone around me, what are they going to think? They just saw a red dot shooting on their minimap. So I just visually check behind me to make sure no one's sneaking up on me. Now I can just play high ground, right? Also, looking at the mini-map, there's 2 people over here. 2 people over here. So now I just need to figure out where the third is. Our biggest threat is somebody leaking in from behind us over here, or behind me. Behind me, yeah. Could be on the loadout over there, could be below. Want to make sure we're being a hard target. Constantly checking areas behind us. I don't know what this is, so we catch this guy, right? Just out of sheer awareness, we catch this guy. I don't know what this is, but I end up losing aim assist on this. I don't know why. Still almost lose this gunfight.
Only 2 left.
So now we're in a 1v1. Guy pops precision. I need to leave now. Plates are not as important. I need to get in the car and leave. Also, now we know this guy's on low ground.
Incoming.
Take the car, park ourselves between him and the zone. Park ourselves between him and the zone. Now he has to come to us, right? Not going to give up our power position for free. Get first shots. Literally, I probably win that gunfight just off of the fact that I made sure that guy got punished for taking the car, right? Probably could have hit better shots on the car. But use the car as cover. Get first shots on this guy. Be a hard target. Easy. If you guys enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.